I've been meaning to make this video for the longest time. It may come as a surprise to you, considering this channel is mostly about veganism and photography. I do, however, believe that we're more than just activists and photographers. We're people with feelings and emotions. And today I want to talk to you about something that's been on the back of my mind for the longest time. I'm not too thrilled that my generation has been synonymous with this trend and popularized it for the last couple of years. I am, of course, talking about the phenomenon called ghosting. I want to deep dive as to what it is and, most importantly, what it tells me about the person doing the ghosting. To understand the concept in its entirety, we must first define it in a broad sense so that we can grasp what ghosting is at its core. Ghosting may be defined as the sudden and unforeseen cease of all communications from one party to another without any explanation whatsoever. Ghosting, to most people, can be associated to romantic relationships or even those which had an inclination to become one. Like many of you, I too have been ghosted in the past, and I wanted to share my experience from the recipient's point of view, which is seemingly the most difficult. At first, ghosting shakes you at your core. You think things are going in the right direction, and then you're left in the dark, not knowing what's going on. Texts get left on scene, calls get sent to voicemails, and the next thing you know, you're feeling like a Jehovah's Witness knocking on a house that has all the lights on, music blasting, and all the cars in the garage. At this point, it's normal to reflect and ask yourself, was it something I said? It could have been. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this wasn't your fault, though. I know what it's like to play your cards right, only to have it crumble in the blink of an eye while you're left wondering and backtracking where it all went wrong. In order for me to fully express how I feel about the subject, I'm going to break this video down in terms of the common denominators that all of the people who have ghosted me have, so that perhaps you can learn from my myopic sense of awareness and prevent this from ever happening to you. Number one is immaturity. Something that I see across the board is that all of the girls I've dated have been immature to some extent. Just how exactly? Well, consider the lack of desire to confront me with their feelings as a huge sign of immaturity. To me, a person that is mature will have absolutely no trouble expressing how they feel regarding something or someone and be able to express their emotions with seemingly no qualms whatsoever, even when it might make me or someone else feel bad. They're so afraid of letting us down easy that they'd rather cease all communications and just hope you'll pretend to not care and or give up the pursuit altogether. Number two is accountability. We live in a world where everything these days, including love, is at the tip of our fingertips. Dating apps like Bumble, Hinge, and Tinder give us the ability to unmatch and, with that, discard anyone that poses to be a bore, a growing disinterest, or even a threat. I suppose that this goes hand in hand with my previous point, but I chose accountability for this one because I feel as though it takes two to tango. Those who invest in a dating app, be it paid or not, are investing time in someone else and sometimes lose sight of that. Relationships are all about relating to one another, and when there is some sort of imbalance, one usually gets up hurt in the end. Number three is juvenile. I equate not wanting to continue to chat like Bobby telling Tommy that he's no longer allowed to play with his soccer ball. I find it childish and unscrupulous. Listen, if we're getting to know each other and you don't like the way things are going, then just come out and say it. Don't leave me hanging just because of an opinion I might have had on a controversial topic. It leads me to question my approach for the next time out, and it makes me wonder if there's actually something wrong with me, which could ultimately lead to mental and emotional health struggles for that person. Number four is fear. People who discontinue any and all communication are so afraid of the repercussions of doing so that they'd rather unmatch you or leave you hanging. They use their cell phones as a scapegoat of not having to deal with you as an individual and continue their vicious cycle, knowing that if they encounter another situation that makes them uncomfortable, they can always resort to ignoring you in hopes you go away in silence. People who ghost sometimes are scared that they'll be the ones getting left behind and that they actually prefer to be the ones taking the reign so that this behavior never finds them as the victim. These four traits among the people who have ghosted me, and probably you, make for a very unpleasant experience when it comes to getting to know someone else. The question is, are they like that in other aspects of life? I hope not, but it would mean that they are toxic and you definitely don't want someone like that in your life. A person that flees at the sight of insecurity or difficulty. Who knows? They might have actually done you a favor, and it takes videos like this one for you to realize it. In case you stumble across someone who was worth your while, thank the ghoster for doing you dirty. If you're a chronic ghoster and you're somehow concerned about these words, think twice about doing it again. Be mature enough to have a sit down or, at the very least, an adult conversation about where you stand and if there's something that can be done about it. If not, that's okay. But at least you handle yourself like an educated individual instead of a 5 year old. I know that your cell phone yields as much power as a magic wand, and by ghosting someone, you're adding to the many societal problems that we have today. I hope this video hit home and helped you get over being ghosted. If you or someone you know has been the victim of ghosting, share this video with them and tell them they've got a friend in me. This break from the usual has been a breath of fresh air, and I might just make more and more of these as I see fit. I don't ever want to pigeonhole myself into anything, so every time I feel I want to get something off my chest, I'll make a video about it. How does that sound? If you're cool with that, stick that thumb you know where, and I'll see you in the next video.